Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. We were talking about, in the greatest recordings ever, of the Frank Szymanowski disc featuring Kaja Danczowska, the violinist, and Christian Zimmerman. And one of you mentioned that there is a Kaja Danczowska box because, she was Kaja Danczowska. This is about Kaja Danczowska, in case you're wondering. One of the great Polish violinists, female violinists for sure, after, Wanda Wilomirska and some of the others of the 20th century. But she was fabulous. She is fabulous. She's still around. She's in her, I think, late 70s, somewhere around there, mid 70s. She's teaching, principally. She made tons of radio recordings, more than 400 of them at one point or another. I mean, that's what she is where most of her stuff is. Not so many studio recordings. And one of you mentioned that there is a Kaja Danczowska box, and here it is, because I have it, and I dug it out, because I do want to talk about it, because she's just one of the major violin artistes of the 20th century, and she did very interesting repertoire. This is a 7 CD set that was curated by Kaja Danczowska that has wonderful notes by her about each of the recordings and why it was meaningful to her, and that she felt also from an engineering standpoint that captured her tone very, very well, particularly well. And the Zimmerman Frank Szymanowski disc is in here. They licensed it from Deutsche Grammophon for inclusion, and of course she was thrilled with it. No wonder. What a terrific artist. And we're never going to hear most of what she did unless we get a lot of radio archival stuff, but now we know that she probably wouldn't have approved of that stuff coming out, or at least, not as much as these. So there's a lot to be said for an artist who selects very carefully the X number of great recordings that represent her artistry best, in her opinion. Of course, our opinion is just as valid and maybe more important than her opinion, but that's another issue. So what do you get on here? Let's just go through it. I'll tell you what you get, and you can take it from there. It's, of course, as usual, it's an excitement to try and get the thingies out of the box. It's a very nice box. I mean, it's very nicely put together. You get a beautiful booklet, as I said, with notes about her and about the recordings that she's included. But let's see here. I think we have them. And lots of pictures of her with famous Polish people, which is always interesting. And of course, the discography. Here it is, CD 1. Okay, so you get the Mozart First Violin Concerto, Koschel 207, from 1974. The Mendelssohn Violin Concerto, a wonderful performance of that, from 1982. And it's a world premiere release. And the Wieniawski Piano Concerto No. 2, where she's a little upset that I think she said the slow movement's a little heavy duty or something. Oh, it's a beautiful performance. It's excellent. Then you've got Szymanowski's 2 violin concertos. Now, she never played the second violin concerto live in concert. She only recorded it because she felt that it was so heavily orchestrated that the violin often gets overwhelmed. So it's wonderful to have these things, these recordings, the logical successor to the Wanda Wilomirska Szymanowski recordings. Remember those? Well, probably not, but that's okay. And the Karlowitz Concerto, which is also a lovely concerto, beautiful piece that she felt very strongly about. CD 3, you've got the Brahms Violin Sonatas 1 and 2, and the Panufnik Violin Concerto, which was written for her, and which she's also, I don't think, ever played live for a variety of reasons, but that's nice to have. And Webern's 4 pieces for violin and piano. She really was very proud of her recording of this work, even though it only lasts 4 minutes and almost 5 minutes. Then CD 4 is the complete violin chamber music of Szymanowski, except for the Myths, which she has with Christian Zimmerman. But you get the Violin Sonata in D minor, Opus 9, and let's see, his Prelude, Opus 1, number 1, in B minor, transcribed for violin and piano, and a bunch of other things. And the Chausson Poème for violin and orchestra, and the Isai Sonata Ballade for solo violin. Quite the collection of goodies, actually. So that's fun. And then we've got more Wieniawski stuff, his Polonaise in A major for violin and orchestra, the Legend for violin and orchestra, some Isai, the Sonata in E minor for solo violin, Opus 27, number 4, and the Shostakovich First Violin Concerto, which was taught to her by her teacher, David Oistrakh. And it's a wonderful performance with a particularly intense account of the Passacaglia, 14 minutes long in this performance. It's slow and grave and of absolutely thrilling nobility of utterance, which is what you want to hear. Nobility of utterance. CD6. CD6 is, every violinist has one. 20 little sniglets by everybody from Schubert, Poldini, Brahms, Zarzycki, Ravel, which is not finally, it's not Cigana. Yay! Tchaikovsky, Debussy, Kreisler, Dvorak, Fibich, Wieniawski, Gluck, Granados, Kreisler, Bachevitz, and Wieniawski, more Wieniawski. Okay, yeah, that's all great. And then CD7 is the Frank Szymanowski disc with Christian Zimmermann. And that is the collection. It is first class, absolutely first class. And if you are a fan of great violin playing, then you're going to want to hear it. You really are. I mean, she's known to those who really, really cultivate the violin and those who appreciate great violin playing when they hear it. So there you have it. It's not a huge thing. It's just a wonderful thing. And that makes it worth it for me. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me, and take care.